Nearly 1 in 3 teenagers had a mental or emotional condition in the last year. 40% of high schoolers report feeling persistently sad or hopeless. And if you're a parent, those numbers don't land as statistics. They land as fear. About screens, about school, about pressure, about whether you're failing your kids. I want to talk to the parents carrying that fear, because there's something in it almost nobody names, and it changes everything about how you show up for your children. Let me start with the morning. The alarm goes off, and before your eyes are fully open, the list is already running. School lunches, the report due by 9, the permission slip on the counter, your kid needs something, your partner needs something. You're in motion before you're awake. And you meet your children every single day from inside that motion, reactive, depleted, braced. Here's the hard truth first. A lot of parents experience their own emotional crisis through their kids. The fear, the anxiety, the sense of failing. It's aimed at the children, but it lives in the parent. And children are extraordinary at reading the state of the adult in the room. They don't do what you say, they absorb what you are. So when you're anxious and reactive and braced, they feel it, and they mirror it, even when your words are perfectly calm. That's the piece I need you to sit with. You cannot give your child a steadiness you can't access yourself. You can't teach a regulation you don't have. Let me say why this is so. A child's nervous system develops by borrowing. They don't come preloaded with the ability to calm themselves. They learn it by co-regulating with a calm adult. Their small system syncs to your steady one over and over until one day they can do it on their own. That's the design. But here's the problem. If your system isn't steady, if you're running on reactive, anxious energy, there's nothing steady for them to sync to. They borrow what you actually have. And if what you have is anxiety, that's what they download. Not your advice, not your rules, your state. The most powerful thing you do for your kids isn't the right words. It's the state you're in when you're with them. And most parents are running on empty and wondering why their kids are anxious. Here's the reframe. The problem was never that you don't love your kids enough or don't know enough. The problem is that you've been parenting from a reactive state with no way back to your own center. And your kids are absorbing the reactivity. There's a moment before the reaction runs, before the anxiety takes the wheel, where you're present and steady and fully yourself. I call it first cause, the moment before. And when you can return to it on demand in the actual hard moment with your child, everything shifts. Because now you're giving them a steadiness they can absorb instead of an anxiety they mirror. This is the most practical thing I can offer a parent, not a technique for managing behavior, a way to be the steady one. So steadiness is what your kids catch from you. Here's what it looks like. The first 2 weeks, you have one conversation with your kid differently. The old pattern starts, the argument with a teenager, the meltdown, the thing that always derails, and you catch yourself before it runs. 60 seconds of return. And you respond from a clear place instead of reacting. And your child feels the difference immediately. By 30 days, you can name 3 moments where you held steady when you normally wouldn't have. And you can see it in data across 5 dimensions of your inner life, based on research. By 90 days, you're the leader in the family, not by title, by capacity, the one who holds when everyone else is spinning, the parent who doesn't lose the thread. And here's the part that matters most. Your kids start bringing you their real problems because they can feel you can hold them. That's the whole thing. You become the steady center their nervous systems get to borrow from. Now, I want to take the guilt off the table because I know what a lot of parents are feeling right now. If it's true that my kids absorb my state, then every anxious moment I've already given them is damage I've already done. I hear that, and I want to answer it directly. You did not fail your children by being human. Every parent carries reactivity. Every parent has anxious days, short moments, conversations that go sideways. Your kids do not need a parent who never wobbles. That parent doesn't exist. And if they did, they'd teach a child that wobbling is unacceptable. Here's what the research actually shows children need. Not a perfectly regulated parent. A parent who can repair, who wobbles and then returns, who loses the thread and then finds it again, out loud where the child can see. That's the gift, not the absence of the hard moment, the return that follows it. Because that's what teaches your child the most important thing you can give them, that being knocked off center is not the end, that there's always a way back. You model the return, and they learn they can return too. So every time you catch yourself and come back in front of your kids, you're not erasing the moments you didn't. You're teaching them the skill that will carry them their whole lives. You don't need to have been perfect. You need to start returning. Starting now counts. Every return is a rep. The reps compound into a steadiness your children absorb every single day. You're not just fixing your own state. You're giving them the regulated adult that research says they need most. You don't have to be a perfect parent. You have to be a steady one. And steadiness is trainable. Start by finding out exactly where you stand. Take the free assessment at ConsciousnessTRAC.app/quiz. 5 minutes, no email required, completely free. It maps exactly where you are across 5 dimensions of your inner life. I'm Candace. I'll see you in the next one.